A very good morning. Thanks for clicking on to Vogan's European Outlook for Saturday, the 5th of June. The Madden-Julian Oscillation is firmly focused. It's enhanced convection over the Pacific at the moment. We've got a large-scale area of sinking over the Indian Ocean across East Africa and extending all the way to Indonesia as well. And this is the exact opposite of what we had back during most of April and May. Where, of course, we had a lot of convection focused over Africa and over the western portion of the Indian Ocean. So phases 1 and 2 during that time continued to suppress the jet stream. We had more in the way of blocking. We had cold conditions across much of Europe. And indeed, with the shift now in the Madden-Julian Oscillation into phases 5, 6, 7, we've seen, of course, the response to the atmosphere, not just across this region of the world, but of course across Europe as well, with much more in the way of ridging and high pressure, of course. Now, this is what the forecast of the GFS for the Madden-Julian Oscillation. This was, of course, what we've seen back during the springtime, and what we're seeing is the modelling is trying, at least, to take the MJO in through phases 7 and 8 and possibly eventually in the 1 and 2. And the reason why I'm showing you this here is because this could have a response back towards trophiness during the latter half of June. Now, the outlook, the upcoming 10 to 15 day period, folks, is very much focusing on high pressure, dry conditions, and at times quite hot weather as well, even for the British Isles here, and I'll get to that in just a second. But this is the Arctic Oscillation forecast. We're firmly positive at the moment, hence why we've got the negative over Greenland, the positive over Europe and the UK as well. But notice here, towards the end of this run, it's taking it back towards neutral once again, and with the NAO, we're seeing the same idea. We're seeing it firmly positive at the moment, and it's taken it quite quickly actually back towards neutral once again, but then it looks as if the majority of the members is trying to have it back towards a positive once again. So high pressure, dry conditions is going to be the rule over the next week or so, and we could, like I say, see some very significant warmth temperatures, possibly into the 30s by the time we reach next week here. And I'll show you this here. This is the 850 millibar temperature anomaly chart for Europe here, and we're in kind of neutral territory in terms of the 850 temperature anomaly. This weekend here, we're seeing some rain showers, we're seeing longer spells of rain, especially across the northwest of the British Isles here, and shower activity elsewhere. But with sunshine, of course, we're seeing temperatures into the 20s here. So as we skip through the loop here, folks, this takes us into the early part of next week. We'll start to see the oranges reappear once again. So 5,000 foot level temperatures will start to rise up into the 10 to 15 Celsius category, and of course you drop that temperature down to the surface, and you see temperatures well into the 20s, mid 20s, high 20s. And as we press through next week, this is by 12Z Wednesday here, we've got very strong positives here in terms of 850 millibar temperatures. Then we see the GFS taking a surge of much warmer conditions, really warm conditions across the British Isles by the time we get to the latter half of the upcoming work week here. And then as we skip forward, we maintain that warm theme, if you notice here. So I think, folks, really from about Tuesday through to about Thursday, Friday, and into next weekend, we could be talking about borderline hot weather for the British Isles here. That lingers for a period of time, and then the model starts to see colder air coming in. But we see these kind of pulses, these waves of warm air getting lifted from the south, from Iberia, from Africa, up into the British Isles here. And then eventually we start to see cooler air coming back into the mix again. And this could be a slight shift towards the MJO transitioning by the time we reach week 2. If you notice here, we're starting to see the blues appearing over Africa, which indicates that we're starting to see that MJO pulse rotate right round and in towards Africa, possibly nudging into the Western Indian Ocean basin. So this, folks, would be the period taken out towards the latter half, the second half of June, and I think the front running 10 to 15 day period could be very, very warm indeed for the UK. A lack of rainfall as well. So it's going to be possibly quite an exciting time, and if you like hot weather, coming up over the next week or two. And then let's watch and see what happens if this MJO starts to rotate into phases 1, 2 and 3 for the second half of June. Let's see where the pattern takes us. So that's it for today. Hope you have a great day. I'll be back in the next couple of days with more. Bye for now.